All right, what's going on, you guys? Brian here with a real quick TNA Impact recap. Um, I would say happy Thursday, but in the wrestling world, was not a happy Thursday. Um, for everybody that already knows, but if you do not know, um, we lost quite possibly one of the greatest wrestling legends of all time in Hulk Hogan, who passed away at the age of 71 today of apparently of an apparent cardiac arrest. And whether you loved Hulk Hogan, whether you hated him, um, whether you were a fan of his, or you were not because of controversial things that he's either said or done. Um, he will be missed. He was he revolutionized the wrestling business in the 80s and 90s um, with the rock and wrestling connection in the WWE or WWF at the time to his to the formation of the NWO in WCW at Bash at the Beach 1996. Um, he's had he had a tremendous career, multi-time world champion, Hall of Famer, has had some classic battles with the likes of Andre the Giant, Macho Man Randy Savage, Ultimate Warrior, Ric Flair, Roddy Piper. Um, the names go on and on of all the wrestlers that Hulk Hogan has competed against. Um, a lot of tributes from wrestlers and some of Hulk Hogan's closest friends and colleagues and people that he's worked with have come out talking about how it is a tragic loss for the industry. Uh, from like the Undertaker, Jake the Snake Roberts, Ric Flair delivered um, an emotional interview. I believe it was on TMZ Sports, I believe. But in my opinion, three. I think I have two moments or two matches that I will always remember. Um, of course, number one was WrestleMania 3, where he took on Andre the Giant and body slammed him, even though Andre the Giant had been body slammed so many times, even by Hulk Hogan way before WrestleMania 3. But WWE, they like to say, "Oh, it was the body slam heard around the world." Um, and then um, when he took on The Rock at WrestleMania 18 in 2002 in Toronto, when he came back to the WWE as part of the NWO with Scott Hall and Kevin Nash. Um, so yeah, Hulk Hogan, as I mentioned, whether you loved him or hated him, whether you liked him or you didn't like him, he will be missed. And my condolences to his family, his friends, and you know, Hulk, as the saying goes, Hulkamania will live forever. And it is kind of sad for this particular week. I mean, um, actor Malcolm Jamal Warner, who passed away earlier this week. Then Ozzy Osbourne, as well this week, and now Hulk Hogan. So it has been a sad week in the entertainment industry. whether it be wrestling, music, or television and comedy. So, let's get into the TNA Impact recap. Of course, coming off the heels of Slammiversary this past Sunday, that saw Trick Williams retain the TNA World Title, JC Jane of NXT becoming a double champion, remaining NXT Women's Champion, but becoming the new TNA Knockouts World Champion, to the Hardys becoming the new TNA Tag Team Champions, to Leon Slater becoming the new X Division Champion. We saw an appearance by the phenomenal AJ Styles. Tessa Blanchard attacked Gia Miller, which led to her being suspended indefinitely. So what would be the fallout from this from Slammiversary this past Sunday? This pretty much was kind of like a TNA is ready to go to war with NXT, or anybody for that matter. We started off the show with Santino Marella, the Director of Authority, who this Tuesday night on NXT will be challenging All Ego Ethan Page for the NXT North American Championship. He basically came out to rally the troops. Masha Slamovich came out, basically asked Santino, basically told Santino that she wants her rematch for the Knockouts World Title. She's going to get that next week against JC Jane. Then the System would interrupt, or would come out next, basically telling Santino, if you need somebody to lead the charge, we're your group. Then Trick Williams and First Class would come out as well to interrupt the System. Then Order 4, which is Mustafa Ali, the Great Hands, and Tasha Steelz, they would come out. Order 4 and the System would get into a brawl. Then we had a backstage segment after they came back from commercial, where Santino's talking with the System, telling them that, don't worry about it, I got this. Here's what's going to go down. Tonight, Matt Cardona and Brian Myers are going to take on the Great Hands, and then Eddie Edwards and JDC, I think, are going to be taking on First Class, I believe, next week. So those are 2 matches for next week. Then we saw in a 6 knockout tag team match, the Inspiration, who came up short at Slammiversary over against the Elegance brand for the TNA Knockouts Tag Team Championships. They had a shot at another shot at possibly earning another title match when they teamed up with Mara Sade, the former Jakara Jackson in NXT in the WWE. So the Inspiration, Cassie Lee and Jessie McKay, they teamed up with Mara Sade to take on the Elegance brand, and it was the Inspiration and Mara Sade picking up the win in that one. We had a TNA injury report reporting about injuries to Gia Miller. I believe I know it was Gia Miller, Casey Navarro, who apparently re-aggravated a knee injury, and then Moose, who suffered an injury during his match against Leon Slater at Slammiversary. Then there was a Mike Santana interview that really didn't take place because Santana was asked about his main event match tonight against Joe Hendry, and he wound up walking away. So then the interviewer found Indy Hartwell, who made her intentions known that she wants the Knockouts World Title. She would be interrupted by Danny Luna, as well as Victoria Crawford, who was like, "Oh, I can be your mentor and your mentor." and I'll go talk to Santino to have a match made for next week with myself versus Danny Luna. And that was pretty much it for that segment. We heard from Eric Young and the Northern Armory. We heard from the new X Division champion, Leon Slater, who came out, talked about his victory at Slammiversary over Moose, as well as the appearance of AJ Styles. Then he would introduce the new TNA World Tag Team Champions, the Hardys, who would come out and they would cut a promo as well. Then the TNA International Champion, Steve Macklin, would come out. Basically, all four guys basically said that this is what a TNA champion should look like, and if we don't care who you are, if you step up to TNA, we're going to take you guys down, and you better be ready for war. And as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, it seemed like this episode of Impact, particularly in a few segments, really were like TNA was, rounding up the troops to get ready for war. Let's see what else. Jake Something defeated Mance Warner in a no disqualification match. We heard from the new TNA Knockouts World Champion and NXT Women's Champion JC Jane, basically who came out, cut a promo saying about how she's going to be the greatest, her championship reign is going to be great, and all this blah, 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 and all this garbage. And I was like thinking, when I saw that, and when I heard that she won the title at Slammiversary, I was like, really, WWE? You're basically gonna tell TNA, oh, our talent is gonna beat your talent, and take your titles. And I'm hoping they're building up to something with this. I really, really do. I hope that they're building up to something special, maybe for Bound for Glory. So the Great Hands, John Schuyler and Jason Hotch, they were victorious in tag team competition against Brian Myers and Matt Cardona when one of the security guards, got involved and hit a two-handed chokeslam on, I think it was Myers, I believe he hit it on. I totally forget. And then in the main event, it was Mike Santana defeating Joe Hendry in a really good contest that could have gone either way. Frankie Kazarian, who had come out for commentary, was ordered back to the locker room because of what he did at Slammiversary when he pulled the referee out during the three-way match. And he tried to make his way back to the ring, but security grabbed him, or basically forced him to the back, and that's when the match really started. And it was Mike Santana winning with a jackknife cover to defeat Joe Hendry. And afterwards, both men would stare each other down, and Hendry would offer a handshake to Mike Santana out of sign of respect. So that pretty much wraps up this recap. I'm sorry about the long video. I did want to give my thoughts on Hulk Hogan's passing today. So, but yeah, this has been my TNA Impact recap. One more thing before I go, I do want to thank everybody that watches my videos. Thank you, and I will see you next time.